Yesterday, I told you all about how the second family was the target of online hate and haters who were dissecting their very tame public display of affection, just like a little knee tap, while reading books to children. And the New York Times fashion critic did a piece on Second Lady Usha Vance's pregnancy fashion, as well as White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, Katie Miller, all these MAGA women and moms, right? Noting that they're not afraid to show off their pregnancies. And why would anyone be afraid to show off their pregnancy? Certainly if you're in a committed married relationship, I mean, what is there to not be proud of? But this is the piece. The politics and power of the pregnancy image. Usha Vance, along with Katie Miller and Caroline Leavitt, shows how much is said by expectant silhouette without saying a word. Okay. So they started off the article talking about how Usha Vance's coral dress that she wore while reading books with her husband on her podcast with story time with the second lady was showing off her pregnant belly. And this is what they said, quote, "She's wearing a stretchy coral dress that hugs her stomach, making what she is talking about very clear." They were talking about being excited to read to their new baby. And then the New York Times article paints these White House pregnancies not as a natural part of married life, but of this sinister MAGA agenda. And they called it a pro-natalist movement, like President Trump told all the men in his cabinet to go impregnate their wives or something for the bit. So this fashion critic makes note that Usha, Caroline, and Katie, they all wear fitting clothing that shows off their bumps. And this is what they said, quote, "The stretchy and black knit Millie dress with a tulip on the front was worn by Usha Vance for a military mother's celebration at the White House. And the form-fitting gowns worn by Caroline Leavitt and Miller to the White House Correspondents' Dinner in April, the photograph placed Miller's rounded stomach front and center, enshrining her pregnancy for all to see." Now, women wear, tighter fitting clothing when they're pregnant because they don't want people to think that they're just fat. This is why women do this. I'm just giving you a little insight into the female psyche. Women kind of hug their pregnant bellies because they don't want it to just look like they're huge and they're wearing a sack. They want people to know that they're pregnant because why wouldn't they? Pregnancy is wonderful. And so the New York Times says this: "It's a notable change from the wardrobe choices of former political spouses like Cherie Blair, who surprised Britain when she became pregnant with her husband Tony Blair was prime minister. Her maternity style consisted primarily of tunics and other loose-fitting attire. Ditto Jacqueline Kennedy, who, when she was carrying a child during her husband's 1960 presidential campaign, wore empire waist dresses and trapeze-like shapes that sufficiently skimmed her pregnant body to leave most of its reality to the imagination." Indeed, ever since Vance, Leavitt, and Miller revealed their pregnancies, their public appearances have showcased their growing stomachs. Forget the maternity muumuu, forget bodycon, this is babycon. In case you missed it, the hand serves to focus the eye. It's really noticeable that the MAGA women are not hiding their pregnancy. There is pride in being pregnant and fertile. They are modeling the idea that one of the ways women can hold power is by being mothers and leaning into the imagery of that. And the fashion critic notes the groundbreaking news, I'm being sarcastic, that in the 1960s, women wore empire waist dresses, and in 2026, women wear form-fitting clothing. No kidding. Style changes, right? And it almost comes off as judgmental, like political pregnancies of the past were somehow more tasteful because they hid them in their clothing. There's nothing shameful about being pregnant. There's nothing shameful about bringing life into this world with your loving husband. Why would these women need to hide their pregnancies? They're all beautiful women experiencing one of God's greatest gifts. And yes, they're showing off their bumps. They look amazing doing it. But there's this undertone to this article that insinuates that these pregnancies are only on display to push an agenda on American women that pregnancy is in, and we're all influencing you to do it too. You know, the left loves their Handmaid's Tale callbacks. I've never seen this show, but they bring it up all the time. Like women are supposed to be these pregnancy machines, and like that's all that we're good for. And for whatever reason, they think that that's the conservative viewpoint of pregnancy. Like women are just meant to give birth, when in reality, we just celebrate the fact that women and only women can give birth. There's a difference there. And this isn't some conspiracy. You know, these 3 married women who ended up getting pregnant during Trump's administration, that's just because they decided to do that. It's not because they're trying to push an agenda. You know what that signals to me? That we have young families in politics. And that's wonderful. But it's also nothing new. You know, the Obamas had young daughters in the White House. The Bushes had young daughters in the White House. Family values used to transcend party lines. But for whatever reason, the left and the mainstream media have made pregnancy and heterosexual marriages into this MAGA-coded conspiracy, which just reinforces the fact that we really are the party of normalcy. There's nothing more normal than a man and wife who love each other having babies in their marriages. But Usha Vance responded to the New York Times' article in the best way possible. She said this: "Now that we know the political significance of my $8.75 coral maternity dress from Old Navy, can't wait to hear what the New York Times has to say about my elastic waistband pants and compression socks. In the meantime, enjoy my pregnancy fashion or lack thereof and a good story time with your kids on Story Time with the Second Lady." So I love this because she's poking fun at herself. She's saying that she doesn't have great pregnancy style, but I think she looks absolutely gorgeous in this dress. It looks very well on her. You'd never know that it was $8.75. She looks beautiful. And she brings the receipts, quite literally. She posted on X that this dress was $8.75. Originally $49.99, but then it was on sale for $12.49. And then she used a promo code to get an extra almost $4 off. So I love this. I absolutely love this. She is the stars. They're like us. You remember those articles in those magazines? The stars are just like us. You know, she's just like us. She's using a promo code on her, you know, her $12 dress to get a little extra money off. I love it. And someone on X was joking and said, or, you know, making fun of this, saying that she's a budget and size mog because, you know, she's mogging on everyone that she's got this great deal on this dress, but also the fact that she is pregnant and still wearing an extra small. I wish. Usha Vance, I wish. So good for her. Again, Make America Normal Again should be our new slogan.